Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
Grant, just coming back from Phoenix, and when you're on the road, you pay a lot of attention.
Your second time in about a month?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Got to get suntanned. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the rumors that you hear stateside. When you go into another city and you hear sportscasts and you hear how they cover coyotes, which isn't very good.
Do you hear or see much?
No,
Coyote
I've tried
talk?
to catch a coyote game on TV. I couldn't find it anywhere.
What about in newspapers?
Well, I read online stuff, so yeah, I don't read newspapers anyhow. But
well, I don't care about that. Did you see any comments?
But yeah, but you know,
I don't read newspapers.
Well, no, I do. I go here and you can read them all. Interesting though, three
so
cities.
Is there any coverage of the Coyotes?
No, a little bit, but 3 cities, Grant. 3 cities. That in the past week that I read columns in the various cities and various newspapers online, Jarome Iginla's name has come up. Interesting stuff. We always, you know,
what cities?
Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And this one kind of makes sense because of anybody that likes to pull the trigger on huge deals is Paul Holmgren. You know, the Jeff Carter situation. He's not afraid to pull that trigger. You know, he realizes his job's on the line.
They make a big deal a year.
Every year, he is the mad trader in the NHL. So that could make sense. I don't know if that would help.
If you're Jarome Iginla, would you want to go there?
Not right now, not with the way that defense is. And
see, Jarome plays all the cards.
Absolutely
has all the cards. Okay.
Another team, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Makes sense because of his connection to Sidney Crosby.
And Jarome would go there.
And he would go there. The other team that came up, and reading an article on NESN, is Boston. And I was going, why would the Bruins, right now they're just, you know, in full gear, doing very well. Who would they have to give up to get? Unless it's, of course, draft choices. But that would be a nice, I mean, they do need help on that power play, but right now Jarome isn't helping much offensively. But I think they would breathe some urgency into his career and some excitement back into his career.
Does he want that?
That's the big question.
It is, because a lot of people think that Jarome Iginla maybe could have gone earlier. Mm-hmm. But does Jarome Iginla really want to get out of a comfort zone in his life? And if you look at Jarome Iginla right now, Mike, a lot of those things that you just said, Pittsburgh, Philly, sure, go Boston, yeah. But a lot of people are wondering if Jarome Iginla really wants to go somewhere. He's got a good lifestyle in Calgary. He might not want that in here, in his heart. So those places make sense to me. But Jarome has a no-trade clause. He's an unrestricted free agent after July 1. So he gets to pick and choose wherever he wants to go. The Flames are put themselves backed up in a corner.
But him, like Kipper, really haven't been coming to the forefront this year. You see it, you hear it in the different reports around town. People just don't see the fire in Jarome Iginla's eyes. Not that it can't come back, not that it might not come back, but right now in this shortened season, and let's be honest, Jarome has some shaky starts in his career.
A lot of teams, it's tough to base a team on the first 10, 12 games of the season. You have to wait a little bit longer. Nobody would have picked LA on the first 10, 15, 20 games of the season. So you have to be guarded there. The only thing is that Rhett Warner, former teammate of Jarome Iginla, said on radio this past week that he doesn't see the fire in the eyes of Jarome. Says, come on guys, lead. I'm gonna lead you on the ice, like we saw 2004 especially. But I haven't seen that in the last few years. So though you don't see that in Jarome this year, to me it hasn't been there for the last few years. So I wonder if Jarome is just in a plateau in his career, that maybe, Mike, he needs some fire, but questions, does he really want to get that fire again? Does that make sense?
Well, it does.
That to go to Boston, he's got to pick it up and leave his family and be on a good team that expects a lot out of him. Maybe he doesn't really want that.
But Grant, when you do that, I mean, sure you miss the family, but that's all you have to live for. That's all. When you go to a new team like that, you know, partway through the season, that's what you dedicate your life to, playing hockey.
That makes sense from a hockey point of view, from a fan's point of view, from a media point of view. But down deep, Jarome has to decide if that's what he really wants to do. People say, well, he can go to a team and finally win a Stanley Cup. A lot of people in business or in life stay in one area because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's risky going outside your comfort zone.
Does that come to mind, anybody?
30 years at one station. I don't want to go anywhere.
Well, I was making
You'd
a run
still
there.
be there too, pal. Oh yeah, you would.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because this is kind of like Ray Bork, and we've talked about this before.
I don't know if it is. Well, yeah, it's similar, I guess.
Yeah.
Matt Sundin.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it is.
It all depends. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, Brad Park. I mean, here's one of the best defensemen ever played the game. He's made it to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple times, but he never got to win the big game, and doesn't have his name on that Stanley Cup, where a lot of lesser lights certainly have. Wouldn't you want that as part of your legacy, Grant?
Yes, but I think we assume all athletes want that,
Yeah.
Mike, and I don't think that is right to assume that.
Yeah.
That's what it appears to be. We assume that, but a lot of guys say, "I'm making my money." Jerome Iginla has never been a vocal guy, has never been that team leader. So I think we're expecting a lot of Jerome that isn't there. And Rhett Warner touched on it this week, and we're seeing it this week. We expect Jerome, come on, I want to win a Stanley Cup. Well, does he? He's making $7.5 million staying in Calgary. Life is good. So maybe, just maybe, if he's honest with himself, he might not want to go anywhere. And the Flames want him here because he makes the money. He is the brand. He and Mika Kiprasov represent what this team is in the business community to the fans. So what you say is absolutely true from an athlete's point of view, but I don't know if all athletes share that heart and determination.
Just that one chance to win that Stanley Cup, you would think.
Yep.